Imagine showing a caveman your braces. He leans in, stares at the shiny metal wires, then opens his own mouth, and somehow, the guy who sleeps near wolves and uses a rock as technology has more space for his teeth than you do. No orthodontist, no x-rays, no braces, just a wide ancient jaw and teeth that actually have room to line up. And that is the strange part, because today crooked teeth are so common. We almost treat them like a normal part of being human. A kid gets braces, and nobody thinks, wow, what a mysterious evolutionary failure. We just think, yeah, that happens. But when researchers look at many ancient hunter-gatherer skulls, they often find something surprising. The teeth were not perfect. They were not glowing white. They were not giving toothpaste commercial smiles beside a prehistoric waterfall. Many were worn down. Some were damaged. Some had serious problems. Because ancient life was still ancient life. And ancient life did not care about your enamel. But compared to many modern mouths, they often had something incredibly important: space. Their jaws were usually wide enough for their teeth. Their teeth did not crowd together the same way ours often do. The mystery is not why ancient teeth were prettier. The mystery is why their jaws often had more room. And the strangest part is this: the problem may not have started in the teeth at all. It may have started in the food. Now, the first thing most people think is obvious. Crooked teeth must just be genetics. Your mom had crowded teeth. Your dad had crowded teeth. Your uncle had one tooth that looked like it was trying to escape the family. So maybe your mouth was doomed before you even had a mouth. And yes, genes matter. Of course they do. Tooth size, jaw shape, facial structure, growth patterns. A lot of that is influenced by what you inherit, but that explanation breaks down. Once you look at the jaw, your jaw is not just a piece of bone that appears fully finished. Like someone downloaded the final version of your face. Your jaw grows. It responds. It changes during childhood. It reacts to how you breathe, how your tongue rests, how your muscles work, and especially how your mouth is used. So crooked teeth are not always just bad teeth. Sometimes the teeth are not the real villain. The teeth may be completely normal. They are just trying to fit into a jaw that did not grow wide enough to give them space. Imagine buying a normal-sized sofa, then trying to push it into a tiny apartment hallway. The sofa is not the problem. The hallway is. In the same way, your teeth might not be evil little rebel scents. They might just be full-sized teeth, entering a mouth where the room is too small. And this is why ancient humans are so interesting, because many hunter-gatherer jaws seem to show a better match between the size of the teeth and the size of the jaw. Not perfect teeth. Not magic teeth, just more room. Which means the real question is not only, why are our teeth crooked? The better question is, why did our jaws stop giving our teeth enough space? And to understand why ancient jaws had more room, we have to look at something modern humans barely do anymore. Real chewing, not the modern version of chewing, where your breakfast is soft bread, cereal, noodles, pancakes, or something so processed your jaw finishes the job before your brain even notices food arrived. Ancient chewing was different. For a hunter-gatherer, food was often tough, fibrous, dry, gritty, chewy, and stubborn. Meat was not always soft. Plants were not always tender. Roots did not arrive peeled, boiled, seasoned, and placed politely on a plate. Nuts had shells. Seeds were hard. Dried foods could fight back. And sometimes, because stone tools and grinding methods left tiny particles behind, food could even carry grit that slowly wore the teeth down over time. So ancient humans were not sitting around eating soft sandwiches and complaining that the crust was too aggressive. Their mouths worked, their jaws worked, their chewing muscles worked, meal after meal, day after day, year after year. And this matters because bones are not completely passive. Especially during childhood, bones respond to pressure, movement, and use. A harder chewing childhood may help encourage jaw growth and wider dental arches. That does not mean tough food magically gives everyone perfect teeth. That would be too simple. But it does mean the ancient mouth was being used in a very different way from the modern mouth. For ancient children, chewing was not just eating, it was training. Every tough root, every strip of meat, every hard seed, every fibrous plant, was like a tiny workout for the face. Not a gym membership, not jaw day, just normal survival. And over thousands of meals, that normal survival may have helped shape jaws that fit their teeth better. But then humans made one of the greatest upgrades in history and accidentally started weakening the workout. Fire changed everything. For ancient humans, cooking was not some cute lifestyle upgrade. It was survival technology. It made food safer. It made meat easier to tear. It made roots softer. It helped unlock more energy from food, which matters a lot when your daily schedule is basically walking, hunting, gathering, avoiding predators, and trying not to become a tragic fossil. So cooking was one of the greatest things humans ever learned. It probably helped us survive. It helped us feed children. It helped us eat foods that would have been too tough, too bitter, or too dangerous before. But like many human inventions, it came with a hidden side effect. It softened the world. A tough root that once demanded serious chewing could now become soft enough to bite through easily. Meat that once fought your jaw could become tender. Hard plants could become mush, and suddenly, the mouth did not have to work quite as hard as before. This does not mean cooking ruined human teeth. That would be ridiculous. Cooking was not the villain. Cooking was more like the first step in a very long chain of upgrades. Each upgrade helped humans in one way, but quietly removed a little bit of the chewing work our jaws had grown used to. Imagine the jaw like a muscle-powered construction project. During childhood, it is still building itself, and the signals it receives matter. Harder food says, keep working, keep growing, make space. Softer food whispers, relax. We do not need all that effort today. One soft meal means nothing. One cooked root means nothing. But thousands of softer meals, across childhood, across generations, can begin to change the story. But cooking was only the beginning. The real dental plot twist arrived when humans stopped chasing food and started farming it. Farming changed the way humans ate, grew, and survived. Before farming, humans had to follow food. They hunted, they gathered, they moved with seasons, animals, plants, rivers, and weather. Food was something you chased. Dug, cracked, stripped, carried, dried, roasted, and sometimes fought with your face. Then, around 12,000 years ago, some humans began doing something completely different. They stopped moving so much. They planted food, they stored food, they built settlements. And slowly, the human menu began to change. This was not a small upgrade. Farming helped create villages, population growth, food storage, social complexity, and eventually, the world that leads to you sitting somewhere, watching a video about caveman teeth. So again, farming was not stupid. Farming was powerful. But it also seems to have changed the pressures shaping the mouth. Because farming brought softer staple foods, grains could be ground, seeds could be crushed, plants could be boiled, meals could become porridge, bread, mush, stew, and cooked cereals. And compared to the tough, fibrous, chewy foods many hunter-gatherers ate, this new food asked less from the jaw, less tearing, less grinding, less daily work for the muscles and bones that shaped the growing face. And this is where the evidence becomes strange. When scientists compare many hunter-gatherer skulls with early farming skulls, they often find a pattern. Hunter-gatherers tended to have jaws and teeth that fit together more cleanly. The dental arches were often more harmonious. The teeth usually had more room. But in early farming populations, crowding and bite problems became more common, not because farming humans suddenly had terrible genes overnight. Genes do not change that fast. The environment changed, the food changed, the workload of the mouth changed, and the growing jaw may have changed with it. Think of the teeth like people trying to park their cars in a garage. For many ancient hunter-gatherers, the garage was usually wide enough, not fancy, not polished, maybe full of scratches and prehistoric dust, but wide enough. Then farming came along and slowly made the garage smaller, while the cars still needed almost the same space, so the teeth had to squeeze, twist, overlap, and compete for room. That is when the mouth starts looking less like a clean line and more like everyone rushed into the same doorway at once. And once you see this, Braces stop looking like a random modern invention and start looking like a repair tool for a lifestyle mismatch. So what does a lifestyle mismatch actually mean inside your mouth? It means the teeth and the jaw are not always playing the same game. Your teeth are built to erupt. They come in when the body says, okay, time to move into the mouth. But they do not get to choose how much space is waiting for them. The jaw decides that. And if the jaw has grown wide enough, the teeth can usually line up more easily. They have room to arrive, room to settle, room to stand beside each other without starting a tiny dental traffic jam. But if the jaw is too small, too narrow, or not developed with enough space, the teeth still come in. They do not politely cancel the plan, they push through anyway. And that is when things get crowded. One tooth turns sideways, another overlaps, another gets trapped behind, another comes forward, like it is trying to be the main character. This is why crooked teeth are often not just a tooth problem, they are a space problem. Image in ordering full-sized furniture for a room that was built too small. The sofa is normal, the table is normal, the chairs are normal. But once everything arrives, the room looks chaotic, not because the furniture is wrong, because the room cannot hold it properly. That is the jaw-tooth mismatch, same basic teeth, less room. And this is what makes the ancient comparison so powerful. Many ancient hunter-gatherers did not avoid crowding because their teeth were magical. They avoided it because their jaws often gave the teeth a better place to go. Modern humans, meanwhile, may have kept teeth that still need space inside jaws that often developed with less of it. So braces are not just straightening rebellious teeth. They are often fixing a room planning problem that started years earlier. And once you understand that, the next question becomes obvious. Why did the modern jaw lose even more of that space? Because after farming came something even softer, faster, sweeter, and easier to swallow, modern processed food. Modern processed food took the softness much further, because today, a lot of food barely asks the jaw to participate. Bread, pasta, cereal biscuits, fries, soft burgers, instant noodles, smoothies, pancakes, baby food that has already been defeated before the baby even sees it. And of course, snacks so soft, they practically surrender the moment they touch your tongue. For most of human history, eating was work. Today, for many people, eating is more like letting food politely dissolve. And again, processed food is not the only reason people have crooked teeth. Genetics matter. Breathing can matter. Tongue posture can matter. Habits can matter. Childhood development matters. No single bowl of cereal is sneaking into your bedroom at night and shrinking your jaw. But across childhood, softer food means the jaw often does less work. The meals are faster. The textures are easier. The mouth gets fewer daily challenges. An ancient child might spend childhood tearing, grinding, cracking, and chewing. A modern child might spend childhood eating food that can be swallowed almost before the jaw has warmed up. That difference matters, because the mouth is not just a hole for food, it is part of a growing face, muscles, bones, teeth, tongue, airway, and habits all interact. And when the environment becomes softer, easier, and faster, the body may not receive the same instructions it evolved to expect. So crooked teeth are not just a weird modern cosmetic problem. They may be one visible sign that our ancient biology is living inside a very soft world. But crooked teeth were not the only thing that changed. When our jaws became smaller, and when the jaw has less room, the problem does not always stop at crooked teeth. Wisdom teeth are the easiest example. They arrive late, like someone showing up to a packed room after every chair is already taken. In many modern mouths, there simply is not enough space left, so they get stuck. They come in sideways, they press against other teeth, or they need to be removed before they start causing chaos. And then there is breathing. Now, not every small jaw causes breathing problems. And not every crooked tooth means something is wrong with your airway. But the mouth, jaw, tongue, and airway are connected. So if the jaw develops with less space, it can sometimes affect where the tongue rests, how the mouth closes, and how easily air moves during sleep. That is why this story is bigger than a neat smile. A crowded mouth is not just a cosmetic detail, it can be one sign of a growing system that did not get the same signals ancient mouths often received. Ancient humans did not have dental insurance, they did not have perfect teeth, but many had jaws with enough room for teeth, wisdom teeth, and normal chewing function. Still, before we turn ancient humans into dental superheroes, we need to be honest about something. Ancient teeth were not perfect, not even close. This is important because it is very easy to hear ancient humans had straighter teeth. And imagine some prehistoric models smiling under the sunlight with perfectly white teeth and suspiciously good cheekbones. That is not what we mean. Ancient humans lived hard lives. Their teeth could be worn down from years of chewing tough food. Sometimes the food had grit in it from dirt, stone tools, or grinding. That grit acted almost like sandpaper. Slowly, meal after meal, it could wear the teeth down. Some ancient people had broken teeth. Some had infections. Some had abscesses. Some probably had tooth pain so bad that a modern person would immediately search emergency dentist near me and then cry when the clinic was closed. Except ancient humans could not do that. There was no dentist, no anesthesia, no antibiotics, no polite receptionist asking if you have insurance. So no, the ancient mouth was not a paradise. Their teeth were often more worn, sometimes more damaged, sometimes more painful. But here is the key difference. Straight teeth and healthy teeth are not the same thing. A person can have straight teeth with cavities. A person can have clean teeth that are crowded. A person can have white teeth and still have a jaw with no room. What many ancient hunter-gatherers seem to have was not perfect dental health. It was better jaw-tooth harmony. Their teeth often had more room to fit. Their jaws often gave the teeth enough space. That is the real story. Not magical teeth, not caveman toothpaste, not some ancient secret smile routine. Just a mouth shaped by a very different childhood, a very different diet, and a very different way of using the jaw. The answer is not that ancient humans had better dentists. The answer is that their childhood gave their jaws different instructions. Childhood is where the mouth is built, not finished, built. Because when you are a child, your face is still growing. Your jaw is still changing. Your teeth are still waiting for their turn. Your muscles, tongue, lips, breathing patterns, chewing habits, and bones are all quietly helping decide what kind of mouth you will carry into adulthood, which sounds dramatic, but it is true. The mouth is not just a random cave where teeth happen to appear. It is part of a growing face, and that growing face listens to signals. Chewing sends signals, muscles send signals, the tongue sends signals, breathing sends signals, daily habits send signals, and food sends signals every single day. For an ancient child, those signals were very different. Food was harder, meals took more chewing, the jaw had to work, the face had to develop under pressure, not gym pressure, not influencer jawline exercise pressure, just normal childhood survival pressure. A child chewing tough roots, fibrous plants, dried meat, hard seeds, and less processed food was using the mouth in a way many modern children rarely do. Modern childhood is softer meals, softer snacks, faster eating, more processed food, more food that can be swallowed before the jaw has done much work at all. This does not mean every child who eats soft food will get crooked teeth. That is too simple. But it does mean the growing mouth may receive different instructions than the ancient mouth did. Less work, less resistance, less reason to build as much space. So when adult teeth finally arrive, they may enter a mouth that was never fully trained to receive them. That is the uncomfortable idea. Crooked teeth may begin years before braces, before dentists, before the adult teeth even show up. And this is where the story stops being just about teeth and starts becoming a story about civilization itself. Civilization is basically humans looking at a deadly problem and saying, can we make this easier? And honestly, that is beautiful. Fire made food safer. Cooking made food softer. Farming made calories more reliable. Grinding stones turned hard seeds into flour. Pots turned tough plants into soup. Mills, ovens, factories, freezers, supermarkets, and delivery apps eventually turned survival into something you can order while lying on a sofa. That is not failure, that is genius. Ancient humans would look at modern food and probably think we had become gods. You mean food can sit in a packet for 6 months? You mean fruit can arrive from another continent? You mean children can eat without someone spending the whole day hunting, digging, carrying, cracking, and chewing? In survival terms, this is a miracle. But the human body was not built in a miracle. It was built in pressure. It grew around work, resistance, hunger, seasons, raw food, hard chewing, and constant use. So when we removed the pressure, we also removed some of the signals. That is the strange trade. Civilization solved one problem, then quietly created another. It solved hunger in one direction, while changing the growth signals our mouths used to expect. It helped us feed more children, but gave those growing mouths less work to do. It made eating easier, but maybe made the mouth less prepared for the teeth that still had to arrive. And that is why crooked teeth can feel like such a weird modern clue. They are not just a cosmetic problem. They may be a tiny record of the moment human life became softer than human biology expected. So what did we actually do wrong? The answer is uncomfortable. We did not ruin our teeth by being weak. We changed the world faster than our bodies could adjust. So the answer is not that ancient humans had perfect teeth. They did not. Their teeth could be worn, cracked, infected, and painful. But many of them had something modern humans often lose: space. Their jaws often grew in a world that demanded chewing, a world of tougher food, harder textures, stronger daily use, and childhoods where the mouth had to work the way it was built to work. Then humans changed everything. We cooked, we farmed, we ground food down, we made meals softer, then softer again, and eventually, many modern mouths grew up in a world where food barely needed to be chewed at all. So crooked teeth may not simply mean your body failed. They may be a sign that your ancient body is living in a modern world it never fully expected. Braces, in that sense, are not just cosmetic. They are sometimes a repair tool for a mismatch that began long before the first orthodontic appointment, a mismatch between old biology and new comfort. So the next time you see braces, crowded teeth, or a wisdom tooth causing chaos, like a late guest at a full party, remember, this story is bigger than teeth. It is about what happens when humans become clever enough to make survival easier, but not slow enough for the body to catch up. If this changed the way you look at the human body, subscribe for more strange stories about ancient humans. Because your teeth are not just teeth. They are a tiny fossil of the moment human life became softer than the human body expected.